Hi, welcome to KartTV. I'm Nils Schneider, and today I'm going to show you how to make the most decadent brownies. Alright, so firstly we're going to preheat our oven to 350 degrees, and then once that's going, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our pan. So what I like to do firstly is I actually like using an aerosol canola, and what this does is it allows the parchment to actually stick to the pan if you so choose. If you choose to go right into the pan, just use a little bit more oil. And then what I like to do is I grab my parchment and I just make a little slit, but not all the way down. If you go all the way down, then the corners will start to seep some of the batter. We just want to get just enough on the parchment so that we can make nice corners. And we're just going to take our pan and our parchment and we're going to press it right in. Okay. And then we're just going to tuck in each corner nice and even, and making sure that the parchment rests perfectly in the pan and all the cracks. All right, so your pan should look just like this. So now that your pan is ready, we're just going to put this to the side for now, and we're going to work on our batter. So in a large saucepan, we're just going to bring this up to a medium heat, and we're going to go right in with our butter. Now, since these are so sweet and decadent and just over the top kind of brownies, I chose the salted butter, and what that will do is the salt will actually just balance the sweetness out a little bit and kind of bring it back down to earth a little. The way you can tell your butter start to brown is when it starts to foam on top. And essentially what we want to do is at that point we want to lower the heat a little bit and just let it rest for a second. We're getting close to where we want it for our browning. It's very important to keep a close eye on this butter, as the browning will start very, very quickly, and it's usually when you're not paying attention. All right, so now we're starting to see the foam rise. We're getting close now, and this is where we want to be very, very attentive, okay? Now that we're close, we're going to lower the heat a little bit, but as I stir it, you can kind of see it's almost like a brown sugar color, and that's what we really want, okay? Now at this point, we're going to kill the heat. We're going to go in with a really nice baker's chocolate here, and we're just going to stir ever so gently and make sure that we break it all down, okay? And as we're stirring, the chocolate will just start to slightly cool the pan and bring it to the optimal temperature we need to add our sugar. Now I know it's a lot of sugar, it's a lot of butter, but I just said decadent, I never said healthy. Now that our chocolate's fully melted, we're gonna go in with our sugar, but we're gonna go in just very, very slowly, little bit at a time, very little increments. Ever so gently adding our sugar. And as we do this, this just really prevents it from crystallizing, and it allows it to kind of bind with the chocolate better. If you add too much at once, it'll start to clump together and it'll just turn into a big, scary mess. So we really just want to go slow and sure with this, okay? All right, so now that we've added our sugar, we want it to kind of start to look like almost like a wet sand. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add our vanilla and a little bit of cold brew coffee. We're going to stir that in nice and sure. And I'm also going to add just a little bit of kosher salt here. So now we're going to go in with our flour. And again, we're going to go very slowly, nice and gentle. And we're just going to keep stirring until this binds all nicely together. Now, I always add my flour before I add my eggs. And the reason being is it's a hot pan, it's a hot batter. If you add your eggs in too early, then what can happen is you can curdle them and you'll get kind of like a scrambled egg texture, and that's really not what we're going for here. So we're gonna go right into the pan with our 4 eggs, nice and slow, probably about 1 egg at a time, just very gentle. Slow and steady wins the race here. Now the biggest thing though, we wanna really make sure is that we're not overworking the batter. So the second these eggs are incorporated, then we know we're ready. We have a nice smooth batter, it's not overworked. We're gonna put it right into the tray that we prepared earlier. And I like to go probably about half of this batter to start. You can see those eggs really just make it nice and smooth. And we're just gonna evenly spread it all the way around. All right, so you wanna make sure that you do a nice even spread with the chocolate chips. All right, and we're gonna just put about half the chocolate chips in, and then we're gonna go back with the batter right in. Again, this doesn't need to be perfect. The only reason why I put in half is just it's easier to fold in those chips later. We're just going to give it a little bit of a swirl, and that'll kind of give it a really nice little milk chocolate effect in the brownie. All right, so now that you've mixed in your batter with half the chocolate chips, we're gonna just sprinkle the rest right over top. And it doesn't need to be perfect, just nice and even. So now that your brownie kind of looks like this, it's nice and even, we're gonna place it in the oven at 350 degrees, and we're gonna set a timer for about 12 minutes. All right, so we've pulled our brownies out of the oven, we've allowed them to rest and set, and then come up to room temp. These ones are just a little bit warm, but what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna lift them right out, just gently, and then you can kind of divvy them up how you like. So I'm just gonna go right down the middle here, into quarters. Now again, these are very, very decadent brownies. So that said, a little goes a long way. So the smaller you can get them, probably the better. I'm just gonna show you a centerpiece here. Now this is what I really mean by ooey and gooey. Now my favorite pairing with a brownie is like a vanilla ice cream or something along those lines, so you get a really nice contrast of hot and cold. Thanks for tuning into KartTV. My name is Nils Schneider, and this is one of my favorite recipes for decadent brownies.